Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm an online teacher with the Interim Instructional Services team in MCPS. In our office, we design online courses and teach students virtually with the MyMCPS platform, in addition to holding live or synchronous instruction for our students. Thanks. In this video, I'm going to show you some instructional strategies that you can use to really boost student engagement during your live class meetings and student check-ins. We're also going to take a specific look at Zoom and some of its built-in features and tools that you can use to really enhance your instruction. But before we do that, I think we're missing a little something. Hey, that's better. Teaching virtually is no different than teaching in the classroom. You just got to add your own style and positive energy to it. And I do that with background music. Let's get started. The first thing we want to do is give our Zoom settings a review to make sure we have the right tools turned on for our live class meetings. Go ahead and log into your Zoom profile and then navigate over here to Settings. Once you do that, scroll down until you find the in-meeting options. The chat is one of the first ones you want to have turned on. It's a great communication tool with students, especially for those students who do not wish to use a mic during conference. The co-host privileges you definitely want to have turned on. This will allow you to use a co-teacher or other support staff in your room. Polling offers wonderful informal assessment options, and then you want to have Always Show Meeting Control Toolbar and Show Zoom Windows during screen share both turned on so you can have access to the participant window during your meetings. Screen sharing, you definitely want to take a look at and have it turned on because there's great options you can use. Annotation allows for students to write on your screen in case you want them to solve a problem or answer a question on the board. If Whiteboard is enabled on your operating system, definitely have it turned on. It's a great tool to use. As is nonverbal feedback, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute. There are a ton of settings in here you want to check out, but these are some of the main ones we're going to see in this video. Now we're going to take a look at how to use all these great tools for an effective live meeting. The first feature is the waiting room. It's a great privacy feature that MCPS has in our Zoom meetings. You can really leverage this by allowing a few kids in at a time, or you can hit the Admit All button and have all students in at the same time. You can really start conference on your own terms. Remember, greet them with a lot of positive energy as they come in, and make sure that little red mic shows up for each student to show they're connected to audio. Now, these students are showing up in the participant window. Remember, we turned that on in our settings. There's a lot of great features here. They, first of all, have a raise hand option to pick. If they put that up, hey, they have a question. You can stop conference, you can unmute, and they can ask their question. Then when they're done, you can hit clear all to give it a fresh start. You can also ask yes or no questions as you see here, like, hey, have you been outside today? Now, as you're waiting, make sure you're giving that adequate wait time. Even though sometimes it gets a little bit awkward, give it that wait time, especially in virtual learning. So you see here, they've answered the question, and now you can clear and move on. Now, under More, you'll also find thumbs up and thumbs down. So I can say, hey, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on to the next topic. And you can, again, give it some wait time to see if everybody is ready. And you can go ahead and clear and know that you are good to go to move on. These buttons are some great informal assessment tools. Another one is the polling feature. You can preload questions for your meetings, and you can ask questions of students. So like this one here is launched to the students. It's a simple, funny, would you rather, but you can also use this for content questions or a quiz review. And you see here, they answer their questions, you can end the poll, and you can choose to share the results with the class or not. Once we clear that out, the other feature I want to show you is the chat feature. Now, you have to have this turned on to be able to utilize it, but you can send a chat to everyone in the meeting. Or if you need to have a confidential or a private conversation about grades with a student or assignment they need to turn in, you can send a private message to your student, that specific student. They cannot send messages student to student. They can also send you a private message, so it only goes from teacher to student with the private chat feature here. The next feature we want to talk about is screen sharing. Now, there are some limitations depending on what operating system you are using, but I say do the best with what you got. So when I click screen share, that green arrow down there, you have a few options here. Desktop sharing is number one, and that's pretty much consistent on all devices and operating systems. Or they sometimes will give you the ability to share just a specific tab. So you notice I'm going to share this Google Chrome tab. And I will only be sharing this window of my screen. You can see a little green bar that is indicating that I'm just sharing this tab. Now, one thing to note and a tip for you, just like you would have your materials ready to go in your classroom, make sure that you have all materials ready to go in your browser tab. So I have here that settings that we talked about, my slides, and if you're going to use a running Google Doc to greet your students, you have that ready to go, as long with any other resources, videos, and websites that you need to show them. When you're ready to stop sharing, just click that stop share button and you'll be taken back to this main window. Some of the other options that may be available to you are advanced options like the portion of screen. So when I do that, you see a little green window pop up again that you can then move around and resize for your usage, and they will only see the portion of the screen that you wish to show. Again, stop share. And one of the other ones is Whiteboard. Now again, this is one of those ones that might not be available on all devices, but you see here, this brings up a whiteboard, and this is where that annotate feature comes in handy that you turned on in your settings. As students, you could write problems on the board and students could then answer them right on your screen, so you can see how they're learning and how they're doing in your class. One of the other uses of screen sharing, if I stop this share, let's say a student has a tech issue. You can promote that student by clicking more and then hit make co-host, and when you do that, they'll be granted screen sharing privileges. So if they're struggling with access, they could share their screen with you and you can actually see what they are seeing and you can help them troubleshoot and solve that problem. One of the last tips I can give you is to practice, practice, practice. Practice with all of these features and tools that are in here so that you get really good at them, and then you can make your transitions between things very smooth and you can keep students engaged in your live instruction and live check-ins with your kids. I hope you've learned some new strategies and tools to use to enhance your instruction during live class meetings and check-ins with students. Remember, stay positive, keep trying new things, and be patient with yourself and your students as we all adjust to a new way of teaching and learning. Thanks for watching.